I'm like, let's get Drake. It ended up working out great because it was a fantastic marketing play.
Yeah.
For the longest time, that year after, we're just pumping on Instagram. Hey, don't forget, this is where Drake came, right? Okay, yeah, 50 leads coming. It worked out phenomenally.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the planning that went into it. Nobody knows the headaches, the stress, the sweat. That's what hospitality is. You know, as an entrepreneur, there's no 9 to 5. There's when you wake up and there's when you go to bed.
Yeah.
Because now we got phones. Our phones, we have emails, we have this, we have that.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What Would It Cost? Today I am sitting with the CEO, the president of not only Chateau Les Jardins, but Hotel V. This young entrepreneur is an absolute success story, and he knows what he's doing. He's confident, he's young, but he's got it all together. I've done lots and lots of work with him in the past, and he inspires me. And he motivates me to want to be better. Him and his family are absolutely awesome. They've always been good to us, and we got their backs forever. So without further ado, Mr. Julian Parentela. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely,
really appreciate it. I know to get an hour of your undivided attention is a tough task. So the fact that you honored this time slot with us over here, What Would It Cost? We feel very grateful for that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've been seeing what you guys been doing on social media, obviously, and I'm like, when's my turn? It's got to be one of these days. So I appreciate you having me. Thank you. And yeah, man, this is awesome. You guys got an awesome setup here, bro.
Thank you,
really
brother.
cool.
Yeah, hats off to the marketing crew. They do a good job on putting it all together.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited about this episode because there's so much that we've done in the past, and you're a very, very seasoned entrepreneur that has many talents. And I've seen that in the entertainment and hospitality industry. I'm now seeing it in the real estate business and the development side of things. Mm-hmm. And it seems as if though whatever it is you put your head to, you're that all or nothing character. And you get it done, but not only do you get whatever it is in front of you done, you do a fantastic job doing so. So
I appreciate it.
I wanna start with the hospitality side and
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your background, how it all started, where you are now, and what you look to do in the future.
Sure. So as far as hospitality, of course, you know, Chateau Les Jardins event venue. It's been around since 1985. From my grandfather to my father. And now that my father's retired, it's down to me. I've been in the hospitality industry since I was 5 years old. My dad was paying me $1 to set up. I would come home with that $1 or $5 bill. I thought it was fantastic. So, you know, I've been entrenched in that since I was a kid. It's part of who I am. I mean, you know, I always knew it was something I wanted to do because, you know, even when you host house parties or you have people over, I love hosting. I love it. I love people coming to my place. I love seeing that reaction, that satisfaction when they have a good time. We're talking about it afterwards. And then that just sort of transferred over to Les Jardins, to Chateau Les Jardins. I mean, you would think you would get sick of seeing wedding after wedding after wedding, template, but that's not who we are. Every event at Les Jardins has its own identity. Every bride and groom, it's their first time there. And that's sort of what I tell my staff too, not to veer off too much, but you know, you might have waitered and serviced 1,000 weddings, met 1,000 brides, but it's their first time here. So you want to give them that unique experience. And I love reading 5-star reviews. I love it. It's my favorite thing. I focus more on the 1 stars. Obviously, it pisses me off, but you know, those 1 stars help you get better. You got to focus on, obviously you're not perfect and it's a constant growing process, but I mean, if you don't have that resiliency, I don't think hospitality is the industry for you. You've met my dad. You have to have a little crazy in you to be in hospitality. You have to be crazy because only it's a 24-hour a day, 365 day a year business. You're constantly reinventing yourself. You're constantly looking at competitors. You're constantly seeing, you know, who's doing what. How can I do it better? How can I be at the forefront? There's thousands of venues. Why would they come to me? What unique selling proposition? What am I offering my clients to choose me as a place that they want to go? But you know, I wasn't all because you've asked, you know, where I came from, how I got there. Mm-hmm. What I did for school was never hospitality entrenched. I kind of saw later that it was. I went to school for civil engineering. Okay. Graduated as a civil engineer from Ryerson. Took my sweet ass time. Took me 6 years. three
Beautiful.
three courses a semester. I was in no rush. I was more at that point. I was more into party mode and whatever and stuff like that. But after university, I went to go work for Ellis Don. I worked for Ellis Don for a year as a project coordinator. Then I went to work for Tridel for a year as a project coordinator, which was a massive wake up. Massive wake up. I was. I'm not proud to say, but I was more of like took things for granted type of kid growing up. Obviously, that's where the no rush to graduate kind of identity came in, right? But I never really had an idea or a value of the dollar, how it's made and this and that, just because I was always in the family business. I've only ever worked for my family, right? But then working for Tridel, waking up at 5 a.m. As project coordinator, I'm in the cold of the cold. I'm out there measuring concrete. I was responsible for concrete, rebar, safety. Pretty much managing less than managing the project. I'm sure a bunch of people know what project coordinating entails. But you're out there. I'm in the cold. I'm in long johns, socks, boots, stuff that I'm not used to as what the kind of background that I had, right? But it was a wake up, man. Waking up at 5:30, getting there at 7. If I'm there 2 minutes late, I'm getting shit from the super. I'm getting shit from the assistant super. Nobody's giving me special treatment, which unfortunately that's sort of what I got as working for my old man. I remember when I was like 17, 18, I would just not go. I went to Niagara. I went to the casino one day, and with my buddy. I'll never forget with my buddy Matt Punzo. We're walking in. It's like 7 a.m. We have to do setup, and I'm like, "Do you want to go in?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Do you want to go to Niagara?" He's like, "Yeah." We went to Niagara. Went to the casino. We took off to the casino, and then I get a call from my dad. He's like, "Where the fuck are you?" I'm like, "I'm here." He's like, "You're not here." And the setup supervisor was Hector. I'm like, "Hector's talking shit." So anyways, I ended up finding out that I was in Niagara. But next day I'm back at work. If I were to pull that shit at Tridel, holy shit, bro. it would have been all made. So, but I found something out about myself during that Tridel period that, I'm resilient. I'm capable of pushing it out, pushing it through. And I was actually committed to going through the process of promotion after promotion, working my way up. I saw it. I was really obsessed with the building process. I love the ideas. Like I love the actual. I love seeing how a building gets built. I love that, and I've always liked the idea of having my own building, and for some reason, condominiums were something that a residential building was something I was more. I felt like I was more aligned with, but seeing how an actual building gets built from top to bottom was really cool, and I always like the idea of having a building left over that I built after I'm long gone. This is a piece of property on land that will remain long past, God willing. But working your way up in a conglomerate like that's difficult. I mean, I saw a few people that started after me move up before me, and not to say that maybe it wasn't on merit or this or that, but then my dad, I'll never forget, he came by the site one day. He was curious to see what was going on, and he's like, "I want to build a hotel." I'm like, "Fuck it, let's go." A few weeks later, I did. It wasn't just that abrupt. I gave it some thoughts. And then I'm just like, you know what? I handed my 2 weeks in, and then I started working for my old man, and that was like I would say 8 to 10 years ago.
Okay.
2015, I think I stopped working.
So is that
for
when
Tridel.
the process started for the development?
Oh yeah.
2015.
Yeah. But my dad, he's been wanting to build a hotel since, he's probably told you, since 2000. It's always his idea to have that banquet hall and hotel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much background and how much pre-development there was involved. Like just from concept design to getting the right architect, interior designer. We were with Merit at the time. We're with Hilton now, but getting that flag, that brand behind you, we're talking years. And then to develop to develop a unique selling proposition for the investors, as you're well aware, to get all that in line. I mean, and to actually have something to sell. It was 3 years on its own to get a complete architectural design set. I'll tip my hat off to my dad because the whole design is all more or less his. I was involved in a few pieces here and there, but the grand scheme, him, he gamed the whole thing out from when you walk in. I think he's an alien, honestly. The way he sort of develops things and his creative process is, in my opinion, second to none. I haven't seen anybody that's capable. You saw at Prenoir how we did that. Yeah. To have somebody who has the balls and to design something from start to finish, it was. I saw it. I'm there. I'm glad I was there to witness it, but very unbelievable process. And throughout that whole time, running Le Jardin, developing Hotel V, was something that I was doing simultaneously. And now, where we are now is my father since retired. I've assumed I'm the president and director of Chateau Le Jardin. Yeah. And now principal of 27 Developments, our development company. And we're finally at the point where they're running congruently. Le Jardin's running, and we're ready to dig for the hotel. So it's fucking beautiful. A lot going on at once. Yeah. But it's overwhelming at times, bro, but it's good. It's you see the, like, for example, for your business, you see where the road ends, more or less. Mm-hmm. You see the big picture. And it's what keeps you going. It's what fires you up. Yeah. It's what, gives you that motivation to keep going every day. Yeah. Inch by inch. Some days you don't move. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And when, like, to bring it back to the hospitality and entertainment, right? Like, I remember when we had done some events in there, right? Whether it was a DJ or whether it was a Halloween jam or the Apres Noir series with you guys and everything that you're doing, right? Like, you always try to maximize the potential of the experience, right? And that's something that, the Parentelas are known for, where you don't cheap out and you don't dilute the product or the experience. Mm-hmm. And let's talk a little bit and focus more on the Apres Noir series now, right? So you guys were the first to bring Drake to Vaughan, right? Yeah. And not only that, but you brought a lot of other talent through that place. And what a lot of people, when I hopped on the event with you guys and started working it, what a lot of people were asking me, not only in the industry, but other clients or other people and network as well, was, Nick, the numbers, we're doing the numbers, and based on what the talent is worth and based on what the event to curate we think is going to cost, and based on the whole overall number side of things, it doesn't make sense, right? Or the margin could be very thin, right? Because it's public information what Jennifer Hudson, David Blaine, Drake are worth. But what the genius was behind it, right, was that what people don't know is about banquet halls, right? Every 10, 15, 20 years, you got to shut down, pump 3, 4, 5 million into them, reinvent them, become the next hottest banquet hall on the block. Of course. Then a few years go by, the bookings start to die, right? So the way you guys looked at it is okay, how do we jack up the revenue but not shut down and go through a $10 million renovation to revamp this place and then be able to be the newest, best kid on the block, demand the most per plate, and get the bookings up? Right. How do we find a way to add attention to this hall, right? Yeah. And even be able to potentially profit from the events themselves. So that people didn't see that angle, and then that angle drove sales through the roof. Because it's like, if Drake was cool enough to perform here, who the fuck are you to not do your wedding?
Right, exactly.
Vibe, right? Yeah, so, or David Blaine, or Jennifer Hudson, or Bob Saget. The
Rest
list
in peace,
goes on,
Bob Saget.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, so it was like there was a purpose behind that all, other than just trying to monetize and make a profit on that show. Right. So, but that was just one example. You guys are steady, reinventing yourselves over there and adding layers onto it to keep the sales up. And how you originally built it out is so beautiful and it's still lasting, and it still looks like sharp, right?
Yeah.
So to talk to me a little bit about like some other strategies and things that you've done throughout the years to like keep that going and keep it so that it's a
fresh. Right, exactly. So I mean, for the people that don't know this, for the longest time in Woodbridge, it was essentially Le Jardin and Wonderland that were like the two freestanding buildings. I won't call Wonderland a building, but in Woodbridge, so Le Jardin does have that landmark sort of name to it, that identity. We've been around, and the way my dad first did the renovations, and he talks to me about this a lot, is create a traditional space. Modern is modern until it's not modern anymore. You know what I mean? That requires constant renovation. If you're modern, a certain style is not going to maintain for much longer than you said, 4 or 5 years. You're gonna have to reinvent. You're gonna have to exactly, right? So what we built is a traditional fairy tale castle sort of building. We think, or at least I hope, that a lot of people would want to continue to get married in that fairy tale sort of castle building, right? And as part of the identity of a castle, my dad always says, if there's a chipper here or chip there, it kind of adds to the charm of it, right? Right. But there's still, even though we did do the Drake thing, which is a great point. Not a lot of people know that we did lose on Après Noir. Obviously, the numbers did not make sense. The Drake show was one of the only shows that we actually made dough on, right? But that was actually that we didn't start by looking at the duality of it, the marketing versus, we just wanted to create a cool fucking thing. My dad, bro. And it started off so funny. I went to him, I'm like, because we did the French Montana. And I was with them, and it was a great party. The French Montana party was one of the best parties we had at Le Jardin. It was phenomenal. And I walked to his office the day after, not a day, I was hungover the next day, but a couple days after. I'm like, let's get Drake. Because we're a few friends removed from everybody. You're friends with somebody, but at least we knew you, and who, different friends, Chubbs and Charlie B, that sort of came into the picture. But I'm like, let's do Drake. I'm like, but let's put our spin on it. Because my dad always spoke about the cabaret, that Frank Sinatra Vegas style thing. Even though it didn't end up like that with Drake. Everyone slammed the stage, remember? I thought this thing was a dinner. Remember that? But Chubbs, don't worry, it's all good. That was legendary. But then I thought it was just going to be Drake. And then my dad, I'll never forget, he said, who else do you think we could get? And then we called you, we called Mass. Then we went off to the whole list and everything like that. It was just supposed to be Drake. But then, afterwards, we're trying to build something. And to build something like that, you need $10-20 million. If you want to create something, we did it with the numbers, public knowledge, obviously, right? Whatever everything costs. Don't like to talk about numbers like that. But, it ended up working out great because it was a fantastic marketing play. For the longest time, that year after,
you guys are buzzing,
and we're just pumping on Instagram. Hey, don't forget, this is where Drake came, right? 50 leads come in, and it worked out phenomenally. I think it's a little bit tired now to keep harping on that since it's been 5 years, but we'll still remind you every now and then. Hey, don't forget Jennifer Hudson. 100%, David Blaine was here. He did that chick and and everybody else. Rob Thomas, two cellos who were fucking amazing too. I think they were one of my favorites.
They were.
But Drake was obviously, that night was just special, bro. It was special. I'll remember
too, he had just dropped his album.
He just dropped Nice for What?
He was buzzing.
Bro, buzzing. And the funniest part of that night, and we're going to veer off, I'll never forget, there was groups because the Raptors were playing Golden State. And Drake had a bet. Had a bet with KD about a jersey or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And they put it on Instagram, so everybody knew. And we were all bending because Drake had to reschedule the first time, June 7th, right? And then I remember walking around the lobby. Even at this point, I'm like, he's not gonna reschedule. He's not gonna cancel, right? And then I'm looking at circles of groups. People are live streaming the game. He's still there. I see him courtside. And sure enough, the guy shows up and just drops one of the best sets I've ever seen. One of my chandeliers almost came down. Crazy. It was one of the best nights. It was one of the best nights I think in my life. I don't think I fully appreciated it. You can't. You're more in like a state of like, holy shit, this is actually really happening, right?
You remember when we coordinated the story post for the announcement? It took 3 months to get it to get it.
And what happened right before?
And then Right when he posted it, remember we had the phone. Amy was someone was on the phone that had worked for you. Tash was on the phone.
Yeah.
There was like 3 people on the phone, and it was
Laura.
right when he dropped that. Blah, 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 blah.
Bro, we blew up.
Where the tickets?
He take shot. Yeah, no.
And then we were refreshing. Remember Google? You guys were refreshing. There was a new article being
Every 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes, because it was all earned media. It wasn't even
Billboard,
paid media. It was
Complex, bro. We
Yeah.
at one point it was like something I felt like the whole world was talking about. Just stop,
Literally.
just to look.
Literally,
Not
yeah.
only at this new concept we're trying to create, but also at Le Jardin.
Yeah.
So the good thing that everyone did is, a banquet on Woodbridge Chateau Le Jardin. And at that point, there was like,
Yeah.
we didn't, for 2 years, I didn't have a room to sell, right?
Yeah.
It was insane. We're talking Monday to Monday. It was,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool just to see that turnout and just to see, what one guy can do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just by
man.
saying, yo, I'm there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even like anything else, but just to say like, yo, I'll be playing there. Everyone's like, where the fuck is this place? And oh, they do what? Okay, they do events. Oh, okay, they do this. And then it kind of worked out like that. And it was cool because there was a lot of follow-up press, there's a lot of follow-up media, and that sustained us for like a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously we piggybacked off that.
Yeah.
But then
Love it.
yeah, but then
Bro, we were the first ones to bring Drake to the bridge.
we did, bro. We did. It was sick, man. It's really
Hold that title.
yeah, we hold that title, that for sure.
Heavy.
It was crazy. It was really crazy, man. It was really cool to see all that shit, and to see it happen too, because you talk about it,
Yeah.
and nobody knows the planning that went into it. Nobody knows
that
the
was
headaches,
wild,
the stress, the sweat. But
were
that's
grinding.
that's what hospitality is, bro.
Bro, and
it's like
and
a swan.
arguably that like he was the hottest artist in the world.
Still
at
is.
that time. Still is. But
Yeah.
but at that time he was like peaking, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
God's plan just came out.
yeah, like the amount of things that were happening behind closed doors to grind that and get that to the finish line, but then to see it come alive was surreal. I remember
Crazy.
standing in the back of the room, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you like what you guys have done with the hospitality and the entertainment side of things has really stood out to me, and I think to a lot of other people when it comes to not so much like a cookie cutter banquet hall. You guys have added so many tasteful layers into your establishment and your business, and it's been really fun to watch over the years.
For sure.
And now moving into the hotel side of things and you building that. What does that look like when it comes to the amount of work, the team behind it, the years till completion, cost wise?
So-
yeah,
There's a lot that goes into it, and for the longest time, it was just thank God my sisters joined me. You put a good team around you, but for the longest time, it was just myself, right? It was just me doing both Le Jardin and both hotel. There were weeks, months on end where I was doing 80, 90, starting at 7. And you both know, as an entrepreneur, there's no 9 to 5. There's when you wake up and there's when you go to bed.
Yeah.
Because now we got phones. Our phones, we have emails, we have this, we have that, right? So, but as far as the hotel is concerned, I mean, just fully being able to wrap my hands around it when I assumed control was a lot in and of itself. So many moving parts, managing investors, continuing the forward momentum with the project. Within the last year, we, the things the milestones that we've achieved. I want to say we because I'm a part of it. I like to say like you're only as good as the people around you. We brought in a lot of good people. I have a great project manager that works for my development company. I hired him. Tony Trevisano, he ups the forward momentum. We have a great construction manager. Our consultants are fantastic. The best architect, best interior designer. Just working with these people, helping get to that point was the biggest part. And within the last year, we got our zoning approvals, we got our site plan approvals, our draft plan of subdivision. Just last week, we got our shore and excavation permits. So we locked in Hilton as our flag because with the whole COVID thing and that our relationship with Marriott, unfortunately, we decided to split mutual ways. But thankfully, we had connections that introduced us to Hilton, and we have a franchise agreement with Hilton. So Hotel V is going to be a Hilton, but also the day to day behind the scenes. just the sheer amount of work and dedication, and like just having that mindset that, you know, even if sometimes you get a no, or you run into a roadblock, how do I problem solve my way around it to keep pushing forward? Like having, and I think that's where my engineering background comes in, because engineering is problem solving essentially. So having that mindset to be able to recognize, see what problems are coming ahead and steer your ship around that iceberg. I mean, you know, the total amount of work that goes into it's insane. We're finally at a point where we can start digging. We can start digging, but I mean, I want to be able to fully express the amount of stress, the amount of, you know, sheer work that goes into something like that. Not only, you know, you're building a hotel, but you're managing a banquet hall too, right? At the same time, I'm the general manager of this banquet hall. I have to make sure that runs well. I have to give attention to both of my kids. Yeah. Which is why I have so much respect for people who have much more on their plate than I do. I mean, you have to be a walking machine. Yeah. Like, you know, now, like you're running a big operation, you know, you're a machine. And that all starts, and just to veer off from the hotel project, I love how you said you wake up at the 5 a.m. in the meditation, because your morning routine, my morning routine that I've adopted, I think that's what sets you in the right framework for the rest of your day. You're going to encounter shit as the day goes on. You're going to encounter, things are going to happen. You know what I mean? Inevitably. But if you're not in the right mindset to attack those things, you're screwed. Yeah. So that meditation's a big part of it. Exercise, getting the right frame of mind for work. You know, all this morning routine, and you know how to counteract stress when it comes, and problem solve. That's all been a major part of like getting to where we are right now. And now that we're there, you know, this hotel, you know, probably, do you do the thing where if I point, you pop it up on the screen, like little renderings of it? Put a hotel right. You know, it's 12 stories, 254 rooms, 54 offices, a rooftop pool, a lobby restaurant, a marché, which is a mixture of let's call it a Starbucks and an Italian bakery. On the P1 level, we have a spa, a wine club, 1,000-member wine club. And then we have a production facility. We're going to be selling items at the marché. So it's called La Cave de Teresa and Marché de Joe. So my nonna's name's Teresa, my nonno's name is Joe. So it was always, when they started, my nonna would cook it, my nonna would sell it. So, you know, we're going to be making our own bocconcinis, sausages, tomato sauce, you name it, we're going to be selling over there. In-house paninos, you know, you name juices, this and that. You know, my dad started this, now that he's retired, he's got a pet project, the Verde Juice Bar, which is phenomenal. Nice. So, you know, you integrate that sort of stuff in there too, but it's a beast, the hotel. It's a beast. Nice. That's awesome.
What's the cost to build something like that?
So our construction manager just did a budget. It's 137 mil
to build it from start to finish.
From start to finish.
And that's when you guys had started the planning back in 2015, all the way to completion.
Correct. About 12 million has been paid thus far in soft costs. Yeah. You know, we're talking permit applications, consultants. We started setting our land to grade to get prepared for excavation. So a lot goes into it. Right. A lot goes into it behind the scenes. You know, people see that land and things aren't happening. Every day something's happening. Every day there's a new invoice, there's a new this, there's a new that. Things are always moving, and we're inching closer to the point where we can actually dig, and we're right there, which is phenomenal.
So the 27 development company, it's the developer, and then the hotel management company and ownership is you guys as well.
No, no, because we're gonna have to hire. If I've ran 10 hotels, if I own 10 hotels, then you know that's typically what people do in the hotel space. But I have to learn from a hotel management company first. So we gotta hire a reputable company. They come in, they manage, and it's great to have that too, because there's certain aspects like the synergies between the different F&B spots, the actual the offices, our staff. You know, there's so much that they know that we have to leverage their insight and their knowledge for, right? Because I don't know. Like I don't know how to run. I know how to run a banquet hall. I can make you a lasagna. You know, no, I'm kidding. But to actually full on run the hotel, you need a reputable company first.
Right.
Which is a big part of it.
And then you guys are selling off all the units.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the ownership side of the restaurants that are internal, of the business that's running it, how does that then work after you sell off all the units? What position are you guys left in?
So we still retained a big percentage. Any brand, for example, like a Hilton or a Marriott, they'd want you to retain ownership percentage, which we did, of course. We still have a big chunk, but we sold off units to investors, sold securities essentially. But the F&B spots we do own, so they're still ours. The hotel
which only makes sense because you guys are hospitality experts. So whatever play you put in there, whether it's a supper club, the wine club, the marché, like that stems all from the banquet hall.
Exactly. Yeah. So those all have to work together, and that's where the hotel management company comes in. I would like to ideally there's a conversation with a few well-known Toronto restaurants, Italian restaurants, to fly their flag on our lobby restaurant, but there's synergies that don't really align. They could potentially. We'd have to rejig a few things architecturally as far as the kitchen's concerned, but there's I lost my train of thought there. With the hotel restaurant, yeah. So just getting all that together, it requires a lot of connection, a lot of insight from your hotel management company. So we're going to leverage their insight. We're going to do what they tell us to do, what they think is best. And maybe for the next hotel, then I come in and we run it ourselves, or the third one. But this one for now, we want to do it the right way with the right people, and we get the right team to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
brother.
You guys have plans to expand the Levy brand and want to bring it into different cities, different countries? Is that something you want to do, or is it more so focus on what's on the land, make the most of it, enjoy it? Like, where's your head at with the scaling of it?
The idea is we want to develop the rest of the land. We have that 10 acres over there. There's a lot more that we can do with that, but I've actually never said that to anybody. I just let it slip. The idea is to copy and paste the hotel banquet hall sort of idea to different cities. We're eyeing some space in Toronto, which would be good. I want to focus on completing this project first.
Yeah, of course.
It would be a disservice to my investors and to anybody else into this project to focus on something else before this is completed. So complete this, and then the next step would be, we're in different cities. I mean, ideally, this is the grand vision, but I'd like to have hotels and I guess homes in the cities that I love. So obviously the city of Toronto would be next. Miami would be another. Montreal, we have an eye on, then European cities. That's the idea. Yeah. I like the idea of having multiple homes in multiple different cities, but also building a very strong brand, a hotel brand. We'll see where this takes us. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we'll see where that takes us. Yeah, ideally that's the idea, to expand ideally globally, right?
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting things. I mean, doesn't surprise me that you got so much going on and there's so many moving parts within your portfolio. Who else though, in regards to being able to handle it and be so cool and so calm and just awesome all across the board.
Thank you, brother.
Yourself. So excited to what's to come, and we're always in your corner. We're always supporting and whatever it is.
Us as well. Thank you.
To help propel you guys forward. We got your back, and thank you for giving us all that good stuff.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks, man. Always a pleasure with you, bro.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
So, guys, if you want to learn a little bit more about Julian, you could follow him on Instagram, Facebook. That's your camera over there, wherever else.
Yeah, that's it. You nailed it. Whatever.
What's the handle?
Julian Parentela, personal, at Chateau Le Jardin for business, and at Hotel V for the hotel.
Thank you very much for tuning in to What Would It Cost? And don't forget to subscribe and like. And, we'll see you again next week.